So one frustrating aspect of PvP in Pokemon Go is those dang exclusive Community Day moves. If you don't have them, then you don't got them, and sometimes it feels like it's almost impossible to find somebody to trade. Well, last December, Pokemon Go had an event where you could evolve Pokemon and get their Community Day exclusive attacks. Assuming that we have an encore event this year, it could be good to prepare yourself now for that event, so you got your Pokemon ripe and ready. So in this video, I'm actually going over a tier list of the Community Day PvP Pokemon, which ones you really want to focus on, and how good they are in the meta. Now, if you're sitting at home thinking, Ryan, swag, I'm going to get like one of each anyways, there are some details that you might want to be aware of too, so please watch my video. And if you want to reference this content, as always, this tier list is up on GamePress as well, so link in the description to that if you want to check out the tier list in a text-based format. Alright, so starting out we have Tier 1, and I feel that these Pokemon are must-have Pokemon for PvP in general, the Open Great League as well as Silph Cups. So the first one we have on our list is Venusaur, and I mean, if you don't have a Frenzy Plant Venusaur, or you at least don't have a good Frenzy Plant Venusaur, then you've probably been hurting all this time without it, because it's so freaking good. It is arguably the best grass type, because it has Sludge Bomb to hurt the other grass types. Now I know Tropius kind of outpaces it, but Tropius has the flying type vulnerabilities along with the flying type benefits, and then when it comes to Silph Cups, I feel Tropius is kind of like on the table to get banned for a lot of them, because it's an exclusive regional Pokemon. So Venusaur, definitely a top grass type and a safe bet, but in general, Venusaur, probably the top grass type in all of the Open Great League. There is also something to be said for Master League Venusaur, just because of how good certain ground type Pokemon are in the Master League as well. Right now though, I feel like a Venusaur in the Master League is more of a meme than something that's actually good. But if you do have a Hundo Bulbasaur, if the event comes again and we're actually able to get these attacks again, it could be a good time to get the Frenzy Plant on it, right? Another thing to note with Venusaur, because we do have all this prep time, it could be useful to try to scout different attack breakpoints on PvPoke for the Vine Whip. You never know when that change in IV spread could come in handy, and since we do have prep time, you may be able to get Bulbasaurs that will evolve into Venusaurs that will fit that schema. Just a little thing extra to keep in the back of your mind. Then next up, we have Swampert, and Swampert, man, definitely needs no introduction for people who are familiar with PvP. Unlike any other Pokemon on this tier list, Swampert is the only Pokemon that's actually extremely good across all three leagues. And the reason why Swampert is so dang good is because it has Mudshot. It is a Mud Boy Pokemon. So with Mudshot, it's able to accelerate the charge moves very quickly. Now in the past, it had Surf, which was pretty good, a nice spammable attack, and it could back it up with the heavy Earthquake. Well, now it has Hydro Cannon, and Hydro Cannon is just a straight upgrade to Surf. Swampert, across all three leagues, its role is to just bully things with Hydro Cannon, especially Pokemon that don't resist water, and then things that do resist water, that are weak to the ground, just bring the doom with the Earthquake. So all three leagues, premium Pokemon for sure. Definitely get prepping this guy. As far as the importance of Venusaur versus Swampert goes, you're definitely going to have both of them for sure when it comes to PvP. Next up, we have Tier 2 Pokemon, and these Pokemon are pretty good in the Open Great League, but they are also definitely Cup relevant. You absolutely want to have them for Cups. First one we have here is Charizard. Now, if you're not familiar with the Rainbow Cup, if Charizard is in a cup where fire types are allowed, no other fire type can really stand up to Charizard except for Magcargo. Magcargo uses Rock Throw, and it doesn't really have any good charge moves to back up the Rock Throw, so Magcargo ends up being kind of a meme. I mean, it's a meme that can win, but more often than not, you're not going to see Magcargo in a Fire-type cup. As a result, Charizard basically dominates the Fire-type role in most cups that it will foreseeably be in. For that reason, if you don't already have a Charizard prepped, you're probably going to want to get prepping one. Now, additionally, Charizard does have that kind of flavor where you might want to have two Charizards prepped as well. One for using the flying type fast move, I believe it's Air Slash, and then one with the Fire Spin, because depending on the cup, one fast move may be better than the other one, and you might feel strapped for fast TMs. I know we're not completely there yet, but Have you ever tried to change the fast move on a Drapion or a Hippowdon? When the time comes to do that, you're going to start feeling some pain on your fast moves. So just having 2 ready to go could be nice. Next up, we have the Meganium. And Meganium is kind of on the bottom of the grass-type crew. I think in general, people would consider using a Victory Bell in most situations than a Meganium. But there is one thing Meganium does that, well, I don't want to say none because we have Torterra, but most other grass types don't do, and that's use Earthquake. So if you're in a cup and, you know, having a grass type with poison type moves isn't something that's cool, having a grass type with Earth type charge moves, very cool. Well, hey, Meganium. That's what Meganium's here for. Then next up we got Umbreon, and I imagine you guys are going to be kind of argumentative about this. Ryan Swag, Umbreon should be a Tier 1 Pokemon. It is part of the fabled Deoxys defense form Umbreon Core. And the reason why I got it in Tier 2 here, Last Resort Umbreon, in case you're not on the same page, the reason why I got it in the Tier 2 slot is because we have a lot of Dark types coming in Gen 5 here to bring some competition to the Umbreon. Right now, we have Zweilous, which is a Dragon Dark type Pokemon, arguably better than the Umbreon, and then we have Scrafty and Mandibuzz in the future. So I feel like Umbreon is a little bit threatened in the Dark type role, where it's not like an Omega super relevant thing like Venusaur and Swampert can be, but definitely an extremely good Pokemon nonetheless. If you're mad about it, consider it in the heart of your hearts a Tier 1 Pokemon. But yeah, Umbreon, very good with the Last Resort. People this month are definitely feeling it with the Ferocious Cup. If you don't have it, then you get caught by other Dark type Pokemon and then you really can't bully them. They're going to bully you and it's going to feel bad. So yeah, Last Resort Umbreon. If you haven't started walking 10 kilometers with some EVs in preparation for the day that you're able to evolve it again already, then you're going to get on that right now. Then next up we got Blaziken. And yeah, Blaziken's pretty baller. I think there was 2 cups in Season 1 where everyone was like, Blaziken with counter, it's so good, but if only it had charge moves to go along with it. Well, yeah, now we got Blaze Kick and we have Blast Burn to go with the Blaziken. So Blaziken, really good for cups. If it's in a fighting type cup, it's able to bring in fire type damage, and if it's in a fire type cup, it's able to bring in fighting type damage. So very versatile, spunky chicken here. So preparing one should be a priority for sure. And then finally, for the Tier 2 Pokemon, we have Gardevoir. Now, Gardevoir with Synchronoise. Psychic is a better psychic attack than Synchronoise is because it does heavier damage, it has the potential to drop defense, but Synchronoise is a good enough attack and it happens early enough that it can be used as a bait move. Now, if you were to have somebody with a low level account purify a Shadow Ralt so it gets return and then trade it to you, then you could also use return as an even earlier bait move. But the problem with return is that if the opponent doesn't shield and it actually hits, then it does like wiffle ball bat damage, kind of a joke, right? Where Synchronoise on the other hand actually packs a punch. And then with using Synchronoise, you can also dodge the whole debate like, hey man, where'd you get that return Gardevoir? Oh, you multi-accounting now? Oh no man, it was my mom made an account specifically for this because she loves me, man. And like maybe their mom did do that for them, but it still feels kind of scummy, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I feel like Synchronoise, even that aside, if that wasn't even an argument, I think Synchronoise is a little bit better. Now, sort of like Charizard, actually probably even more so than Charizard, prepping multiple Gardevoir could also be a good idea as well, just because the charge move and fast move composition of your Gardevoir may change cup to cup, so being able to save those charge TMs and fast move TMs could be in your favor. Then next up, we have the Tier 3 Pokemon. So limited utility, very cup dependent, but might want to keep them in the back of your mind, right? Blastoise is the first on the list here, and Blastoise is the water type Pokemon that's like so close to being good. There's like a lot of times where you're like, oh, Blastoise is maybe a pick here, but other water types that are involved with the cup end up outpacing it. Now there is potential in the future for with the Sylph and the ban lists and stuff like that. They might sculpt a cup where Blastoise is insane-o good, and you don't want to be caught with your pants down then. So Blastoise, if you don't already have a good Hydro Cannon Blastoise, I think it's worth it. I mean, look at what happened with Last Resort Vaporeon. Like, I actually, on the initial draft of this tier list, I actually cut Last Resort Vaporeon, because like the flavor text I had for it was like, you know what, I don't know when this is ever going to be a thing, but it's the Silpharina, man, so who knows. And Last Resort Vaporeon in the current cup that we have right now is actually a thing. Hydro Pump Vaporeon is arguably slightly better than it, but the option of using Last Resort, is it on the table, is it off the table? And that's kind of how I feel towards Blastoise. The option to use it on the table, off the table. I think it's good to have your options on the table. With that in mind, the other Pokemon on this tier list, like every single one featured, you may as well try to prep one if you can. I'd say the ones that are tier 5 like aren't really worth it to lose your mind over, but you never know when something could happen. I mean, look at Ferocious Cup here. We could have a Turtle Cup. Next up, we have Tyranitar, Smackdown Tyranitar, and I believe both in the Twilight Cup and the Nightmare Cup, Smackdown Tyranitar had some swag. I mean, it's like really hard to get. I think you have to have like, what is it, like a level 15 Tyranitar or something with the Smackdown, so kind of exclusive there, right? But yeah, in those two cups, the whole thing with it was that it could just bully all the dark types with its Smackdown damage, and they really wouldn't be able to do a whole heck of a lot back to Tyranitar. And then, rather than being a complete meme with that, like Megargo is, Tyranitar actually has like good charge moves to back it up. So yeah, so Tyranitar definitely is something good to keep your mind out for. I mean, hey, if you look at the Ferocious Cup right now, Tyranitar still has that dark type bully edge going on. But I definitely wouldn't recommend Tyranitar for the Ferocious Cup. It's kind of more of a meme there than other cups. But yeah, having a Smackdown Tyranitar could be a good idea. Additionally, because Tyranitar with the Smackdown, because it's a fast move, you could prepare a return Smackdown Tyranitar. If you didn't know, Frustration and Return override the Community Day charge move for a Pokemon, so you can't get like a return Hydro Cannon Blastoise, for example. But for Tyranitar, because the Community Day attack is the fast move, you can get a Smackdown Return Tyranitar if you prepare for it now, and we're able to evolve Tyranitar and get Smackdown with the presumed event in the future. So something to keep in the back of your mind. But do keep in mind that if it is something that is useful in a cup, you will run into the whole, like, where'd you get that Tyranitar kind of argument, and then you're like, no, man, it's my 1-year-old kid's account. He made it for me. It's my dog's account. I just met the guy. I don't know, he's some low-level guy, happened to be level 14, but for whatever reason had a purified Larvitar. Like, what? Yeah, no. But yeah, just something to keep in the back of your mind, though. Just a nice little meme. But Smackdown Tyranitar in general, even without return, is a good idea. Then we got Metagross. And Metagross is more of a Master League Pokemon, and preparing a Meteor Mash Metagross for the Master League in general is a really good idea. I mean, it's the best Steel-type attacker in the game, so if you don't already have like a Master League Meteor Mash Metagross already, then why don't you? But as far as the Great League is concerned, it's kind of a meme. It's sort of like Blastoise tier. You never know when the day is going to come when you need to call upon it, and the day could come. In fact, we kind of saw it with, I believe, the Nightmare Cup 2.0, the Mirror Cup Nightmare Cup. Gardevoir with Charm became insane, and the only way to like manage Gardevoir in that particular cup scenario was to use a Steel-type Pokemon, and I think there was only like 2, maybe 3 Steel-type Pokemon that could really answer the call. And Metagross with Meteor Mash was one of them, but Metagross only with the Meteor Mash. If you don't got it, well then that's one option taken off the table. And should such a dark situation ever happen again in the Silpharina, do you want to be caught with your pants down without a Meteor Mash Metagross? You know, I don't want to, so I'm trying to prep one. So then finally we have Torterra, and I'd say out of the tier 3 Pokemon, Torterra is arguably a tier 2. It's actually pretty hot. The hotness of Torterra is that it's a ground type Pokemon with Razor Leaf. Now, we've flirted with the idea of using Torterra in cups in the past, but the main thing that has always held it back is that it didn't have a threatening charge move. I think it's like Stone Edge, Solar Beam, and Earthquake, right? Yeah, I know, but with Frenzy Plant, Torterra finally has that charge move punch to back it up. Like, it's not just Razor Leaf meme. It also has some threat behind it, I guess, beyond the Razor Leaf, because the Razor Leaf is pretty threatening. TLDR, sometime in the future, there is going to be a ground-type Silpharina Cup, And when that happens, Torterra, depending on the composition of the cup, may become an MVP type Pokemon. And if you're laughing about Torterra right now, but you don't have one prepped, then you're not going to be laughing then, are you? And then finally, we got Tier 4. A strong pick for cups, maybe. First off, we have Typhlosion. And Typhlosion is the kind of Pokemon that's like always almost there. It has Shadow Claw, it has Blast Burn, and then it has Solar Beam for the counter coverage. Like, you'd think that Torterra would be a good cup Pokemon, but in every cup that it's been featured in, it just falls like way short compared to all the other fire type Pokemon. So Typhlosion, I feel like it's the meme that one day will come alive. For the time being, Typhlosion is just a meme. But I think it does have potential to actually be a thing in the future. So don't forget about Typhlosion. And then similar for Ralligator. Feraligatr is kind of like worse Blastoise, and Blastoise is already worse every other water type Pokemon that's actually good. But the potential does exist for Feraligatr to become a thing, just like the potential exists for Blastoise to become a thing. And then, once again, Tier 4 Pokemon really aren't too far away from most of the Tier 5 Pokemon, because you never know when the roulette wheel that is the Silpharina is going to land on something here and then make it really good. And there you have it, the Community Day PvP tier list. If the Community Day event happens again this year and we're able to evolve and get these moves, well, now you know which Pokemon you need to start, keeping your eye out for as far as the good IVs go now for the PvP. If you enjoyed this content, you want to see more like it, make sure to subscribe to SwagTips. So you got any questions on this content, comment below, let me know what's up. I'll be happy to help you out. And if you want a PvE raid environment type of video, I already did that one, so link in the description to that. SwagTips. Dude, I'm hearing a weird thud. It's freaking me out. Hello? Hello?
What?
Babe, you freaked me out.
I'm not allowed to come home for fucking work?
You're home early. You didn't announce yourself. I just heard some weird thumps while I was trying to record a video, and you're still dressed up as a pigeon rancher, aren't you?